Hello, everyone. So excited to be here with Arianne. Arianne is one of the authors in the Sacred Wisdom anthology, and she's also just told me that her book, her very own book, is up on Amazon. So, Arianne, how about you introduce yourself and share with us about your book first?
All right. Thank you for inviting me here, Pamela. It's such a great honor to work with you and to make that Sacred Wisdom book together. And it was perfectly timed when you asked me, because as I was already writing my own book, I could kind of combine it a little bit. And so with that, your support helped me to kind of push me to my book as well. So thank you for that and for inviting me. I am Arianne de Rond, and I am a personal coach. I'm an animal communicator and I'm a dog trainer. And 30 years of experience, I put it all together and I wanted more an approach that is more holistic from this time where we are more embracing that unique part of the dogs and from us. And having four teenagers right now and that whole process of growing up, combining with dogs, I had lots of challenges. And I wanted to embrace the unique gifts of my kids, combining with my dogs. And I surrendered that there's times in your life where dogs are perfectly for you to just show you where you need to be. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm sharing.
That is so brilliant. And so, first of all, the timing of it was really remarkable because it allowed you to look at your whole manuscript for your book and then pull in the pieces that you wanted to highlight in a chapter in a book, which is it really gives some good insight. And one of the things I love about your chapter is that you have a whole list of lessons that you have learned from the intuitiveness, the compassion, how they're present. What is your favorite lesson that you have learned from your dogs? And I know it's going to be hard to choose just one, but what comes to mind right now?
All it is, I put it in a wheel together because there is not one lesson because you need them all. But I think the understanding part that dogs have, right? You can be mad on them and you turn around and they can be happy still with whatever you did. So that understanding part really jumps out. But another really big one is that unconditional love that they give. I don't think that I can see anybody else who doesn't love without expectations, like dogs do.
Mhm.
So they were really my best friends my whole life. And I'm very blessed that I could give that to my kids, to give them a friend that is always there, understanding and loving.
Oh, and I remember as a young teenager, because we got a dog when I was 12 and we had a German Shepherd. She was beautiful, but she was afraid of people. So the only
Mm,
people she felt safe with was within our home.
yes.
And I just remember cuddling up with her and feeling her not feeling like she didn't fit in the outside world, which as a 14, 15-year-old boy, I sure felt that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and isn't that great that that mirroring part comes up there?
Mm,
And if we see it from the dog, we still have that with a little bit within us too, right?
right. Yeah.
And we're not the only one then, we're together. So that makes us not feeling so lonely.
Oh, yeah. And she just, I loved her so much. And I was the one that took her for a walk. And I had a boyfriend, but my parents didn't know I had a boyfriend. But he loved the dog, but she wouldn't go to him. She was always on the other side of me, right, as we walked. And it really did. I mean, I just remember cuddling up with her and just feeling super safe. And I didn't feel safe with other people that were in
Yeah.
my life, but I felt safe with my dog.
Yeah, isn't that a very unique part that they give us too? They give us the safety where in this world we're not feeling very safe anymore. But the safety doesn't come from that they protect us, but they just understand us. That's where the safety comes from, right?
Yeah, and they
So
know.
isn't that great that we kind of need to understand them a little bit more too now?
I love the work that you do. I just love that you can help other people who are dog owners to be able to tap into the energy that you are bringing, what you bring to your work and the connection with the dogs, but also to through the book, which will help even more people, and then to have this chapter for them to be able to see that one, they're not alone, and two, to be able to be responsible, right? And for them, because I love the name of your book and your chapter, which is about being the change for your dog, for them to take responsibility that it's up to them to change, not the dog. The dog is doing nothing wrong. And you bring that up in your book.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so true, right? It's so easy to blame the dog or whoever in our lives. But what if we take that back? What if they didn't understand us? What if we were not clear? What if we needed to give them education first before we can expect that they do what we want? Those little things are some things to think about before we blame the dog.
Mhm. Well, it also makes me just think about when we're raising toddlers and the little people in our life. They're looking to us for guidance on how to behave. They're looking for us to set the boundaries. And it's the same with the dogs. Like, I mean, it
I
is
I
set,
know, but
yeah.
it's so much easier to talk about dogs.
Right. But we can see this, like you said earlier, we can see this mirrored in all different aspects of our life.
Yeah. So that is why I wrote the book as well. I took the lessons that I learned really from the dogs. I put them in the book to kind of work with those lessons and change the relationship that we have with the dogs. But you know what? If you make that something that you are really going for, then it's easy to not just change the relationship with your dog, but with your kids, with your spouse, with business. It doesn't matter. It is the way how you look into relationships.
Right. It is the perspective. All comes
Mm,
down to our perspective. So,
yes.
I have a couple of questions here. So, we talked about how we don't feel, we sometimes don't feel connected to the people around us, but we have that connection with our dog. So, part of that is comes down to compassion for ourselves, right? They teach us compassion and also understanding. So, what would you say to people who feel the need to control their surroundings? Because your book is all about releasing that control, right? So, is there
Yes.
a mindset that goes with that?
Yeah. So, first of all, we don't like every dog, right? But it seems like that the dog is finding us where we are. And that's why we feel connected with the dog. So it's the same as with people. We don't have to like everyone. We don't like every dog too, but there is a connection, and that is all based on energy, right? So we have a connection with the dog that we get, and the dog is kind of revealing certain things from us that we might not want to see, or we embrace them. So if we look from that perspective to your own dog, there is a whole new world of opportunities going open there.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that is the part that I really focus on with my book. And then going back to that control, right? I like to inspire rather than control. But why are we controlling our dog? You know what? If we go back into the psychology behind it, we want to control because we have a fear for the outcome. So what we do is we're kind of afraid for what is going if we don't change it ourselves. So that's why we feel that control coming up. But it's actually, if we go back to lessons from the dogs, I've never seen a dog control anything, right? But if we go back to the lessons from the dogs, this is all about trust. We really lack trust, and that's where the control comes in. So can we lean into trusting the journey where we're on instead of trying to control it?
Right, where we're at. So, but I will say I have walked dogs because I dog sit. So I don't have a dog, but I love dog sitting. And I'll tell you that dog is trying to control when it stops and which direction we want to go.
Can you imagine how much the dog already learned how you react? So we think it's control, but your dog is just reading your pattern and it's working with it.
Very good.
Yeah. Dogs are
Thanks for inspiring
perfect.
me.
Yeah, but dogs are perfect in reading our patterns. And that's where a lot of the behavior issues comes from. Because a dog is just looking, okay, my owner is doing this, and I know if that and that is coming, oh, then that is the expectation coming after. So if that expectation is something fun, they get all excited. But if it's something they're anxious about, they will be anxious, just not because we are already there, but they are reading the pattern leading to it. So patterns in our life is what is revealing why we try to control or do all the other things. So the dogs is just helping us to read that pattern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that is so brilliant. That is so brilliant because we are so unaware of our patterns.
Yes, and the more we do patterns, because patterns are making our lives easier. That's what we think, right? Our brain is kind of like, we do this on the automatic pilot, right?
Yeah.
And we're just doing it. And then it becomes a pattern, so we don't have to think about it. It doesn't cost any energy. So we just do it. But when we do things in a pattern, we're not thinking about it anymore. So we need to reveal, why are we doing that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not why
Right?
the dog is doing that.
No.
Looking at the perspective
Yeah.
from our own pattern. Exactly.
Yes.
Why are we doing that? Yeah.
Yeah. So the dog reveals the awareness why we do the things that we do.
Yeah.
And then if we are aware, now we can change it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
It
And
makes you thinking, right?
it does. Like my eyes are like going up and
Yeah, but that is the great part. If we think that way, we take that responsibility back and say, like, okay, what can I do to make this relationship better?
right. Well, and as you point out in your, I haven't read your book, but I've read your chapter a few times now. And one of the things is that we're able to really look within ourselves, right? Like it really calls us for us to examine who we are, what we're doing, and how something on the outside, particularly the dog, is behaving, and how that is a reflection of us. Right. And boy, oh boy. I mean, I think everybody should be reading. Anybody that has a dog, anybody who has a relationship, never mind a dog. I mean, like I said, I don't have a dog. I learned a lot from your chapter.
Right. Yeah, that's good to hear. But it's so easy and non-judgmental to practice this with your dog.
Yeah.
Because if you make a mistake, you know what? Your dog doesn't care. He's
Yeah.
there again. You can try it again and again and again. So what if we want to make those life changes and try it out on the dog first?
Because that's
Because the great
safety.
part, the great part of it is if you change your behavior, your interactions with your dog will change this too. So it right away shows you, is it working or not?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I walk a lot in my neighborhood and feels like every other person has a dog, right? And I
Good.
just exactly. I observe the people with their dogs, right? And it's like, especially in this last few months since we started working together, it's made me much more aware of when a dog is sort of misbehaving. And we walk by a dog park where the dogs run free. And I think of you every time I'm stopping there, you cross through my mind going, do you have one of these in your neighborhood? I'm sure you
I,
do. But
yeah.
I watch like the dogs, you can hear the dogs in the vehicle, first of all, because they are so excited because they know where they are, right? So they're very familiar with their territory. And they just run loose and they immediately go and they meet up with their friends. And it's so amazing to watch them. They're such extraordinary creatures. And just come, like they're for the most part, well, never mind for the most part, they're friendly, but they read energy too. And so they know when another dog isn't safe for them, right?
Yes, and this is such a valuable point, right? So dogs are reading each other's energy, but they are reading our energy too. So we are not thinking right now, but we're thinking with the stress and everything we have, it right away interferes with our relationship with the dog. So um if we go to dog park or whatever, and we are there to do our work instead of be there with our dog, your dog will do his own things.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
There is at that time the dog already knows we're not here for a relationship. We are here to just do what I want.
Yeah.
So what I am working really hard on is that I want to build that relationship with each other. And what you already said is that there is a couple of things in my book and in the chapter that come forward. And that are the 6 tools to build that relationship on a deeper connection.
Mhm.
Right? And one big one is being present, right? And as I always tell people, you don't have to be perfect with your dog, but start with being present.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a great line. That is such a great line. Oh my goodness. Is that in your chat? If I must have.
Yeah, it's all on there. I don't know if it's in the chapter. I have a book and a chapter. I don't know what is in what anymore.
Yeah. But what a great quote. I'm gonna grab that and post that. But one of the things that when you were talking earlier about the energy and the being in the group, right? So they're in the dog park, and you talked about how they're reading us too. So if there's a dog in the dog park that I'm afraid of, they will pick up on that and they will not respond as they might have with that dog. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So it depends how your relationship is with your dog. But if we talk about, for a minute, we talk about leadership, right? We are the leaders for our dogs. And leaders are not, we think it's the dominant person, but it's not. Like a leader is the one who inspires the others to do what we like to do, right? So, but being leader means that we need to keep others safe too. So if you start to get afraid of a dog or a person or whatever, that energy goes to your dog, and your dog is like, oh my gosh, my leader doesn't feel safe. So now I need to step up. And what happens often that the dog starts to react, and that makes us more fearful. And the dog is like, oh my gosh, I need to do it even more.
Oh my
So
goodness. You're fueling them. We're fueling the fear within them.
yes, yeah.
The fear.
So and that is another part. We are walking with a leash, and if it isn't through the air already, the energy, right? It's going through the leash even more. So the more we walk with a leash, the more that energy goes right to them. And it's our behavior who makes their behavior more or less.
So good. So good. Oh my goodness. Oh, I just love having conversations with you. And you shared it with me just before the call. Would you like to share? You have something that you would like to give to people. Is it a PDF? It's a PDF, right?
Yes, it is a PDF. So if anybody is interested and is like not sure yet if the book is something for you, this is my own book, the Be the Change for Your Dog. So I have a book backgrounder here, and it's the back of the book, and it reveals the first 2 pages. And of course, underneath you find where it's all available. I just checked it out this morning, and it's on Amazon already. So I'm very excited about that part. Another thing done. And but so if you want to read that part first before you decide to buy the book, I love to send it to you.
Okay. And how can people get in touch with you?
So I would suggest that you comment down below. If you want any of the big book rounder, if you want to connect with me, you can send me a friend request. I'm on Facebook as Arianne de Rond. I'm a little bit on Instagram, not as much, but mostly on Facebook. And I have the website, and my website is www.joyfulsupport.com. And we're in the change because now the book is available. So we're right now changing everything in the next 1 or 2 days to make it all better. So you will find the book at the end of this week, I would say, on there as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then with the anthology, we launch in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks tomorrow is our launch party. So people can, we have a group. And if you want to be a part of that, just let us know down below and we'll send you an invite if you haven't already been invited. And let's see.
If you come there, please bring your questions because we're there again to answer some of your questions if you have them.
Mm-hmm.
I love that anthology because I think you just need that book to put in your bookshelf because it pops out so nice.
It's so
I
gorgeous.
just love the cover.
I love the cover too. It is brilliant. And I haven't even looked to see. We have friends in the chat here, I am sure. And Valerie, Danielle, Tina. I do believe that they're either watching us or they're looking at something to do with this event. And I am so excited. I'm so pleased for congratulations on your book and a 2-time author this year. I just can't, like, it is so exciting to have just that. First of all, to publish a book, first of all, is such an amazing accomplishment because you know how it's a lot of work. It's really takes devotion. It takes all the things that you learn from the dog.
Yes.
Passion,
Yes.
responsibility, commitment.
Yes. I called it another birthing, right? I birthed my book and I don't know which one, birthing 4 kids and now book. I don't know which one was
And 2 books in a month. Never
yes,
mind
but
a month.
I know, but I'm so blessed. My work was mainly in my book. I am so glad that you took that part of my shoulders from the second book because I know how much stress it has for you now. I cannot even imagine that you do that with four authors in one book where you need to work with. And I'm so glad that you are part of this because I don't think that we could have done it without you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And now I'm calling in 10 men to do another anthology. I'm calling in the
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
that's
And
next.
that's amazing because I think that vulnerability part, what I really worked on the last year, I think there's more and more men that starts to be aware to with that vulnerability is how we get further in this life. So I am excited to to see your Beyond the Shift next year.
It's been an extraordinary experience, and I'm so delighted with you for saying yes to coming into the second anthology. It's been delightful to get to know you because we didn't know each other before. What, 3 months, 4 months ago, we didn't know each other, and now we're like pals.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the book really shows it is kind of the sunshine in the bookshelf, right? I think I just love the cover and I think that really shows the relationship that we built.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
it is.
based on
And
sunshine.
like I said, it's all energy. So thank you. And if anybody has any questions, like Arianne says, come to the book launch in 2 weeks, write down your questions. And if we see any in the comments, maybe we'll save them. Maybe we'll save them for the book launch.
We can. We can, but I'm sure that we have way more questions coming. So I will tell you, I will answer them
Oh, and
if you
we
have
will.
any questions down below. Or you go to the website, and if we don't have any questions, we can answer them again. But I'm pretty sure there's so many people who have questions.
My ideas aren't all gems.
No, it's all
Oh,
good. And
well,
if
thank
you want
you.
a book backgrounder, send me a message under here below with the command or a personal message, or go to the website or email me. You find it on there as well with the contact page. So I think I'm available for everyone.
Yeah.
And like if you don't understand your dog, just start and try to see it from your dog's perspective.
And yeah, and see what questions come through. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Arianne. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I'm so excited for these books that are coming through. All right. We'll see you all later.